Welcome to this edition of Whiskey and WealthTech. So, again, this will be a different episode. So, right now we're sitting at the Andalusia Whiskey Company, a distillery here in Blanco, Texas. And I'm Alex Sermon, Managing Director of Wealth here at First Rate. But sitting with me is Ty Phelps, the co-founder and owner of Andalusia Whiskey Company. So, Ty, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me today, Alex.
Yeah, we appreciate you allowing us to come in here. And so what are we doing today? So we did a very special process that I'd like you to describe of what First Rate is actually physically here for.
Yeah, First Rate has come to Andalusia Whiskey Company to pick their very own whiskey barrel. So we've had the crew from First Rate here today. They've tasted through 6 different whiskey barrels. We've evaluated, we've talked about the different flavors and the different approach to different whiskeys, and they've picked their very own barrel. Y'all have picked your very own barrel.
Yes, and we're very excited to get to share this with our clients, our coworkers, our communities, as we're very big on, and be able to introduce this very specific and unique barrel that once it's gone forever. There's never going to be a barrel like it. And so that's actually what we're drinking right now. We've gone through that process, and now we are drinking our very own First Rate whiskey. So, cheers.
Yeah, they selected barrel number 332 in our warehouse inventory. It's a triple distilled American single malt. It has 3 unique distillations through the still. But also what makes this whiskey a little bit different than a lot of Irish-style whiskeys, which is kind of what this is that it's been aged in 100% new American oak. Mm-hmm. So you see the color, we've got a nice, beautiful copper color. So it's going to have a lot of classic characteristics that bourbons often have because it's aged like a bourbon is. Mm-hmm. So that new American oak is going to give you vanilla and oak and tannins. So we like to call this an Irish-American whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah. The body of the whiskey is still based upon malted barley. So it's got some really beautiful malted barley characters, the malt sweetness. But the barrel aging is a little bit different on this one. That brand new oak is going to give us vanilla and cinnamon and baking spices, but also tannins. So not just flavors, but also qualities. Tannins have kind of a drying quality to your mouth, kind of like a Cabernet or like a big-bodied red wine does, because those also are aged in oak as well. And so that's one of the biggest differences between a classic Irish whiskey and the American single malt that we're making. Irish whiskeys would probably be a lot lighter in color, more commonly aged in a used barrel, and so the barrel will just be a smaller component of it. But for us, in the tradition of American whiskey, we wanted the barrel to be a bigger part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm getting a little bit of vanilla, a good bit of oak here.
Maybe some cinnamon and toffee.
Cinnamon? Yeah.
Yep. Cinnamon is kind of some of the baking spices that we get from oak. The vanilla is a fun fact. It's made from charred oak. It's vanillin, and a lot of the imitation vanilla you get is made from charred oak barrels.
Yeah.
And so that's why we get that classic vanilla flavor.
Yeah, this is a very easy drinking whiskey. I mean, it's unique. It's interesting. So it's not a basic whiskey, but it's something that I think that even non-whiskey drinkers would really enjoy.
I would agree. Yes, it's got some approachable characteristics, and that's that kind of the vanilla part of it. Who doesn't like vanilla, right? And so I think that's a very approachable part, and that's kind of what makes it similar to a bourbon. Bourbon's the American whiskey, kind of the classic style of American product, and so it leans towards the American palate in a little bit in that way. But the backbone of the product is still very Irish in tradition and in the production style. Having that malt and the 3 distillations.
So we've talked about, First Rate. A group of us came in, we sampled 3 different whiskeys, we voted, and we decided on Barrel 332. So that is a First Rate whiskey.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about Andalusia, how you guys got started, what you guys are about,
sure.
And what makes you unique in regards to whiskey distilleries in general, but also Texas distilleries.
Sure. Yeah, we are a distillery that is operated on our family farm, and so the name of the distillery came from the previous ranch that was here. When we moved here about 12 years ago, the previous owners were called the Andalusia Ranch, and so when we started the distillery, we wanted to honor the name of the old ranch tradition and history that was here. And then we settled on malt whiskeys because this is kind of our background is in beer, and these are the kind of whiskeys that we like. You know, I'd hate to be trying to make a product for people that I wasn't passionate about myself.
Yeah.
Like we could make a gin, and I like gins, but I just don't know enough, and I'm not passionate about a gin to really feel qualified to put something out there that I can really put my name on.
Yeah.
So malt whiskey is really my jam and really my territory, and I felt like that was really the kind of product that we would settle on. The distillery's been a great win for the family farm and vice versa. All of our effluent can be broadcasted and irrigated onto the farm so we can raise more or grow more grass and raise more animals. But also the distillery has waste such as grain waste that we can then feed to our animals. So we're able to have more animals and grow more grass because of the distillery here on the farm. So it's been a really big win for us, and vice versa. You know, our main products kind of settle on Irish, Scotch, and Texas styles of whiskey, and we do kind of branch out occasionally and do a rum or a brandy, but ultimately we'll be a malt whiskey company forever.
Okay. So us being a Texas company, you being a Texas distillery, can you expand a little bit on what makes a Texas style whiskey?
Yeah, sure. So Texas aging of whiskey is very different than aging whiskeys in other areas, and that's primarily because of our climate. When you're aging a barrel of whiskey, you want warm temperatures in general, and you want temperature swings. And we have both of those here in Texas. Yesterday it was 25 degrees colder than it is today here.
Yeah.
And you know, every time that temperature swings occurs, you get pressure changes that happen in the barrel. And those pressure changes suck the liquid in and out of the oak in the barrel. And that speeds up the aging process. So warmer winters, warmer summers, and then temperature swings really give Texas whiskey, its kind of characteristic flavor approach. Typically what happens in Texas is you just get whiskey aging a lot faster. Whereas 3 to 4 whiskeys in Texas is 7 years in Kentucky is 12 years in Scotland, just because of the difference in climate and temperature extremes.
Wow. Awesome. And so then our whiskey that we picked today, so
Yes.
we're sitting at 32 months. So that's, if I do my math,
So
right, a little under 3 years.
Almost 3 years, yep.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a 5 to 7 year Kentucky bourbon as far as the amount of true aging. Now, aging whiskey involves two things. It's extraction of flavor from the barrel. That you can speed up, but there's also oxidation that occurs. Oxygen interacts with the whiskey. There's chemical reaction. The oxygen is a very powerful oxidizer, obviously. And, you can speed it up a little bit by increasing temperatures, but oxidation is one of those things that you can't just get by putting cubes or staves into your barrels or something like that and or using baby barrels. All that will speed the extraction, but it really doesn't speed the true aging of the whiskey. And so that we're able to do just by increasing temperature a little bit, but by getting that at least 3 years, you've got your minimum aging period required for a quality whiskey.
Gotcha. Yeah, you can't fake that process.
You really can't.
Anyway.
Yep.
Well, Ty, it's been wonderful getting to talk with you. I'm so happy that we were able to work with you on getting a very own first rate whiskey, and be able to get that to you as our listeners, as our clients and customers. And so, Ty, thank you again for having us. It's been a wonderful experience, and hopefully we can do this again one day.
It's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers.